All right, welcome to our Bridge Academy Information Night. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Heather Pelletier. I'm one of the school counselors here at Herman High School. I work with sophomores, juniors, and seniors, mostly with the last name L through Z. Our caseloads have changed a little bit as the high school has grown. And I'm also the Bridge Academy and UTC liaison and coordinator. Joining us tonight from Bridge Academy, Maine, we have Mason Brewer, who's the program director, and we also have Brian Langley, who's the executive director of Bridge. We also have Rachel McGill joining us from the University of Maine, Augusta. She's the director of the early college program, and we work very closely with her for our Bridge Academy students, as well as many of our early college students. We also have Leslie Smith here, who is also a sophomore, junior, and senior school counselor here. So thank you for also joining us. I will first speak briefly about Bridge Academy, specifically at Herman High School, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mason and Brian and Rachel, who will speak more to the specifics of Bridge Academy Maine. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll try to address them as they come up, but we will also reserve some time at the end for questions and answers. So you can certainly hold your questions to the conclusion if you feel more comfortable with that. So in terms of Bridge Academy at Herman High School, our partnership is between Herman High School, United Technology Center, and the Maine University and Community College systems, as well as Bridge Academy Maine. Through these partnerships, Bridge students attend career and technical programs, CTE programs. They also take early college courses, mostly live taught here at the high school, but also a combination of online early college courses. And they receive specialized support to meet college and career goals. The main goal of the Bridge Academy program is to provide students not only with a significant jump start on their college credits and their college career, but to also assist them with a smooth transition from high school to their post-secondary life. In order to participate in Bridge, students must take a CTE program. That's a non-negotiable, so they do have to be enrolled in a UTC program. And they have to take a minimum of 3 early college courses per year. So they'll take at least 3 courses during their junior year and at least 3 courses during their senior year. And they do have an opportunity to take more, depending on the student. So they will choose from one of 19 different programs at UTC, and they'll work with their school counselor here at the high school to customize early college courses that will meet their individual goals for after high school. Students apply to Bridge Academy during their sophomore year of high school to participate during their junior and senior years. And while there may be costs associated with some of the early college courses, there is no cost to apply, and the counselors will work with students to reduce the cost as much as possible. If you're a freshman parent, you may be wondering why you are invited tonight if your student can't apply until sophomore year. And the purpose of that is really to get your student planning ahead for the future, because if they know that they want to apply for Bridge during their sophomore year, that can impact the courses that they choose during the registration process this year. So we want you to be able to plan ahead. And if Bridge is something you think you want to do, we want to set you up to be able to take that track. Mason, I think you're muted.
I think so too. I'm learning. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm just going to pick off right where Mrs. Pelletier left. When you see on my screen, there's a ton of questions, and less than 10 years ago, I was in your shoes wondering where I was going to go and what I was going to do. Admittedly, I didn't handle it the best, and looking back, I can explain that to you why. Hopefully, I can over 2 years in the program. But these are really the questions that counselors hear, that we hear in the program. Even folks like that Brian worked with, employers, are working with students who are looking to get to that end goal but just don't know how to get there. You'll meet the high flyers. A lot of the students, some of you may out there, already have answers to these questions. That doesn't mean you won't succeed in the program, and you'll hear tonight why. There are plenty of benefits for many different reasons, and many different students will find different avenues and pathways. It's not a one-size-fits-all program. It's not a one program in terms of it's only nurses or only automotive technicians. It's really about you and where you want to go. And later on, Mrs. Pelletier will mention the UTC program, so I won't really go into that. I just want to focus really on why we do what we do. I'll have Brian talk about our partnerships. We have a lot of partnerships. Some are on the call tonight, obviously, and then we'll go from there and explain how you can join the program. So if I talk too fast, it's really just because I'm cognizant of your time, but feel free to slow me down, or like Mrs. Pelletier said, just shoot a question in the chat and we can go from there. I like to start my presentation with the obvious analogy. Everyone kind of has this blank stare. When I was in admissions, I used to work in admissions and financial aid, and you would say, okay, well, you're interested in this program, but what are you going to do? Have you taken this course? Have you taken anatomy and physiology? Have you taken statistics or calculus? And they were like, oh, well, I wish I had known that. That was a course that I should have taken last year, and they feel like it's too late. And the reason why I say that is just because when you're a sophomore in high school, a freshman in high school, it's really the best time to be exploring things. You don't want to be getting to the end of your junior year or senior year and just then starting to think about it. We're all kind of thinking about it in our own way, and looking back, I realize that, but it's a matter of just taking the steps one by one, your junior and senior year. And a lot of times the parts are already there. Herman High School offers the dual enrollment courses. University of Maine Augusta works with them to get those courses in there, as well as other schools. There's the UTC side, the CT side. School already exists. It's not like you have to attend a separate bridge building. You would go to their program. We really just work with everybody to kind of build that bridge, to help put everything together. Some schools are different. They have certain areas where they succeed and just need a little extra help from us. Some have everything down, and we can go above and beyond. Folks like Brian can work on building out pathways and different internships and partnerships. So we're really kind of in the background. You'll meet me at Summer Academy, and we'll mention that. You may hear from me in Brightspace or virtually from time to time. But really, you'll work with your counselors more, your teachers, Rachel, and registrations, things like that. But we're here to help. So if you ever need any questions, obviously we can help you. We have the expertise. But like I said, you'll really just be attending classes, going to school on your normal day. You'll just be pursuing your passions and really getting experience in different skills and building those credentials as you go along. And that's really what it is. You're driving across that bridge over 2 years, taking advantage of the supports that are there. Your teachers are offering the courses for you to take advantage of, and it's all for your benefit. So we say it's really not just about the credits. Obviously, you'll see later on stories about credits, and even one or two girls earning associates as they graduated high school. But we really believe in the programmatic approach. Those questions that you saw in the beginning, answering those questions. And then when you get to the end of the bridge, you'll see, wow, I have 30 credits and I know what I want to do, and I know where I want to go. And we're really beneficial for that is the partnerships that we have. I just started this program 2 years ago. It was really kind of all there for me, and able to plug and play and help students where I can. I believe, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but Herman was the inaugural high school program. So it's really been built up from the ground, and happy to see everyone on this call, because it's been a growing program ever since. But if you don't mind just talking about the importance of our programs and partnerships.
I'd love to. And many thanks to Heather and Leslie and the folks at Herman High School and the school district for jumping on when this was just an idea back in 2011 and 12, when we got a pilot up and running, and then decided to be able to bring this statewide. But really, our key partners and the partnerships that we have and create, and we, like our name, we sort of bridge those gaps in between all these entities, and they all have their full-time jobs to do. Rachel at University of Maine and Augusta I mean, as in the university system, they've got a university run, and Heather and Leslie are really working inside of Herman. And then what we do is try to be the go-between all of our partners and try to smooth out those transitions for our students and the people that work with us. And what we've learned, and I'm sure Rachel and Heather and others that are in this for a living can tell you, is that we lose a lot of kids in between the time they sign up for college and get that acceptance letter and the time that they cross over the threshold to campus. I think Mason has told me they call it the summer melt. So anytime that there's a transition between one building and another, one program and another, one school and another, we lose students. So are critical to our success. And the fact that your child, your student is in high school and practicing what it takes to be successful in college, that transition almost sometimes is hard to even see because it happens while they're in the safety net of the high school with the caring adults. And when they cross over, many times they're a sophomore in college. They've already done their freshman year. So they didn't have that freshman transition. So our university system, the community college system, our learning management system, what you see is Brightspace, and the Career Center, which is the Department of Labor, are all people that work to help out your students. So we package them all up and try to connect those dots.
And honestly, I'll say it so she doesn't have to. The UMA crew, you'll meet Christine hopefully too, is really top notch, and not just in the state. I used to work in Vermont and worked with high schools and oversaw an early college program, and it's bar none. She has the best approach. She's always available, and especially when the pandemic hit, talk about flexibility and still keeping academic quality that folks could see when they continued on. So really been lucky to have her and just UMA in general to offer those courses. So rather than me try to steal her thunder and explain it, I'll let her do it. Rachel, if you don't mind just explaining kind of the style of courses, methodology, and also the additional resources that they have as UMA students.
Yes, thank you. Wow, guys, I'll have to pay you later. That was a really nice introduction. So Rachel McGill, Director of Early College for UMA. I've been working with early college for about 5 years up in Maine, Bridge this whole time, and it's been a really fun ride. I've enjoyed every second of working with these programs, and in particular with Herman High School. So the courses that you are going to be taking in this program are by and large general education classes. So this is a term that you're going to hear very much at the college level. There's core classes that you'll need to take that are within your major, but then there are these gen ed courses that everyone has to take. So what we've done is looked at the curriculum at the high school level and matched that up with 100 level classes at the college level that most students will need when they move on, either to a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree. The courses are taught by high school instructors at Herman who are vetted by the university and actually work with the guidance of a faculty member at UMA just to make sure that the curriculum is on par and the same standards that we would expect at the university level. And I say this all the time and no one believes me, but early college at UMA is the most assessed program that we have. So we have our own majors like cybersecurity, computer science, nursing. No program is looked at more closely than early college. So, and it speaks volumes to the instructors that you have at Herman High School because they are fantastic. What we do to kind of ease this transition that everyone's talking about is we spread these courses out over the course of the entire year. So what would be a 15-week semester-long class, you guys will take in 35 weeks, which is the whole school year long. Pandemic aside, we did do some schedule changes for that just to accommodate some of the remote instruction time, but we'll see how that goes next year. This 35 weeks kind of is like a baton. I explain it as a baton pass off. So for the first, like, I'd say half of the class, your instructors guiding you through the objectives, things you need to learn, and kind of showing you what it's like to be a college student without fully asking you the total expectations right away, kind of giving you that runway to kind of make a mistake and get back on track. But midway point, they kind of take those training wheels off, and that baton, the baton kind of goes into your hands. And it's one of the major things about become a college student. You have to learn how to self-advocate for yourself, and those college readiness skills nobody teaches you, but we expect you to know when you land on our campus. This is the beauty of what this program kind of helps to show you and guide you with. Most students graduate with 18 plus credits, and I don't know of a school that does it any better than Herman, where a student will come in with what their specific goals are, and the amount of college classes they run at the high school, as well as their familiarity with the online classes that all the campuses are offering, really, really allow you to tailor your coursework specifically in that senior year. So you're not taking classes that aren't going to benefit you as you move forward, which unfortunately was kind of a big theme we were seeing when early college just kind of blew up in the past couple years. So now the line is taking credits with a purpose. Bridge has always had that mentality, and Herman definitely has always had that mentality. So it's nothing that you have to worry about, but it's really nice to know that you can customize your plan depending on what you want to do. The students in Bridge, just to help with that transition, will be utilizing college resources. So through like the guidance of their instructors, I'll give an example. Most of them are using our writing center to kind of vet their papers through. It's a requirement for the college writing class. Not by us, but actually the high school instructors require their students get used to what that would be like to send their papers through the writing center. So they electronically send them on. They're peer reviewed by one of our tutors and sent back with, revisions and suggestions. So it's nice that they get to utilize that early. And other things like online tutoring, access to Brightspace, which is the learning management system. So Blackboard is no longer what the community college system or the university system use for their online classes. So just the fact that they get to use Brightspace ahead of time is the transition that takes is huge. So that's a huge bonus. And then the last thing is the summer academies, which I believe Mason and Brian will talk a little bit more about. But this program is not all about the credits, although that is definitely a huge benefit to you. At such a reduced rate, you can kind of take these classes and know that they're going to count for where you want to go. But there's the college readiness piece that goes along with being college proven. And that is kind of the secret combination. That's what we want students to walk away with, that they feel confident to know how to navigate this world of higher education, because it is not easy and it is sometimes nuanced. So if we can send them off with those skills as well as the credits, they are well on their way to having a successful educational career and career after that. So with that, I will kind of turn it over to the next person.
I'll take the baton. I like the baton.
Okay.
I'll take that back. Yeah, thank you. And the one thing I wanted to mention, I know it's been mentioned, is there is a $40 per credit cost associated with the Bridge courses. Not all of the courses that you'll take are have the Bridge rate associated with them. But like Rachel just said, there's obviously a reason why there's the cost associated with it, the resources, the extra attention. But it is at a discounted rate. I believe it's close to $100 less per credit than the average or the traditional early college rate. So if anyone has any questions about that, we can answer it at the end too. I will talk about the summer academies in a second. There's actually a great Herman graduate story that goes along with summer academies and what Rachel was talking about. First, we've all been kind of hitting on the different college and career readiness questions, life readiness questions that we've been talking about working with our students on. And one main avenue that we have is the Eastern Maine Community College Opportunity Ready Macro Badge credential. If you attend there, it's actually worth 3 credits too, all paid for by Bridge. There are certain things just by participating in Bridge, besides the courses that are paid for, that traditional students or just adult learners will have to pay for. But we work this out so that you can do it over your 2 years in the program. So each, I don't know if you can see my cursor as I move, but each section is really one micro badge, they call it. If you haven't heard about badging and credentialing, we'll tell you. Even if you don't join Bridge, you'll probably learn on your own. But it's kind of the new way. It's the alternative to credits. Sometimes they even transition into credits. But it will be a way of developing your own resume, your personal resume, career profile, and it will also prepare you for all of these different questions. Some of the ones that kind of stick out to me, this one, communication and email etiquette. If you attend Summer Academy with this year, we'll probably do this one together. I can use some help on it too. But as a high school student, I did not realize the power of emails and just checking your emails. It sounds like some simple thing, but we all don't do it very well. But if you can get in a good habit of just checking your emails, even from this period now until end of your sophomore year, I bet you'll learn about some opportunities that everyone else is just ignoring, and it'll pay off tenfold down the line, just like attending this meeting. So Eastern Maine Community College, like I said, Opportunity Ready Badge, if you hear about it, it is a part of our program. You will learn all these things, and it's available to you to complete. I mean, you can complete it in 1 year if you want, but really kind of space it out so that it works out well with the program, and can be available to you really this summer. We'll probably work on that at Summer Academy, like I said. About Summer Academy, going there. Kari Burns was one of the first students, I believe, in the program, in one of the first cohorts. And Brian touched base with her last year, so I'm really kind of stealing his thunder in the story, but was able to connect with her myself. And just learning the program, I learned a ton through her. And one of the biggest pieces I learned about the Summer Academy and the power of the Summer Academy was the college tours that we traditionally take. We'll probably have to develop a different style of college tours this year, just because of the pandemic and higher ed still learning the new ways of college tours. But Kari specifically, when she went on her Summer Academy tour before her senior year, she told us she didn't want to go, first of all. Said she wasn't interested in any of the schools. It was just taking up more summertime. I'm sure that's not uncommon for a lot of Bridge students. But anyway, we were forced her to go to Maine Maritime Academy, walk around the campus. She had joined the program kind of tentatively, just knew she was interested in building construction and was capable of the courses. So she did it. And then when she went Summer Academy senior year, that's kind of when she told us everything clicked, when she was on the Maine Maritime Academy campus, saw the major that was perfect for her, and really kind of was sold right away and knew that that was her goal to pursue Maine Maritime Academy. Went there, stood out in classes, ended up, I cannot remember the number of credits she transferred, but she started as a sophomore. And then when Brian touched base with her last year, she was just learned that she was able to graduate in December, which is an accomplishment in its own right. But then later found out that she was able to land a job, I believe in the Gulf of Mexico, on an oil rig, and got the job specifically because she was able to start earlier than everybody else who was graduating in May. So she learned that by joining Bridge, she graduated a semester early, and looking back on her wishy-washy, she was like, I would have never forgiven myself if I didn't join Bridge. So that's really just one little microcosm of the benefits of the Bridge program from one of the first Herman students. There are two more recent students that I believe Mrs. Pelletier is going to talk about a little bit later. But I just love the story of Kari. I love that little story of that she learned she wanted to go to Maine Maritime Academy kind of unwillingly, and then it turned into her landing a $90,000 job a year right out of high school, or college. So that's one story. I'm going to let Brian tell. I stole one of his stories. So this student is down from his way in Ellsworth, and I believe he just found out he can graduate early too. But I'll let Brian tell that story.
Yeah, well, welcome everyone. This is Devin Grindle from Ellsworth. I taught at Hancock County Technical Center for 27 years, and I taught culinary arts. And I had Devin's dad in my class. And Devin's dad worked for me for quite a number of years. I owned the Union River Lobster Pot downtown Ellsworth. Devin came to, ever since he's about 5 years old, he said he was going to come work for me at the Lobster Pot. And at 15, he did. Started out as a dishwasher and a bus person. And then in our conversations, he's really interested in law enforcement. And he went to Hancock County Technical Center in law enforcement. And he did Bridge while he was there, and he got it, with 31 college credits. And when he tells this story much better than I do, but when he was sitting in the registrar's office with his transcript, and they went down through the requirements at Thomas College, and they started scratching off classes that he didn't have to take. And then when it got up to, like 31 credits, he started as a sophomore. I saw his dad just a couple of weeks ago in Hannaford and Ellsworth, and he stopped me in the store and said that Devin had got called into the administration, into their office, in December or early January, and he was all nervous about why he got called in. And he said, "Well, we've got to start planning your graduation. You're graduating next December." And he said, "Well, I just got here." And so he graduated in 2019, and he's going to graduate now in 2021, December of 21, with a 4-year degree in law enforcement. And the other thing that I really like to point out about Devin is a lot of students say, "Well, what am I going to give up if I take on the extra work and do college courses?" Devin played on the basketball team at Ellsworth High School. And some of you, if you're at Herman, I think his team played your team. And they played, I think, in the quarterfinals or semifinals that year at the Bangor Auditorium. And then he was also a baseball player on a state championship baseball team. And I like to tell this part of the story. He stole home in the state championship game without telling anybody he was going to do it. But and he works for me. And what he told me was, because of the scholarships and the money that he saved, and then working a summer job as a waiter for me, he's very proud of the fact that his parents have not had to pay anything towards his college degree. His parents don't have a lot of money. And so he's worked his tail off, saving up his money in the summers, and then saving money on classes through Bridge and that sort of thing. So he wants to stay and live and work here in Maine. He wants to be a game warden. So everything, there couldn't be a happier kid about where he is right now. So, and his parents too. And if I could get them on here to tell you about how thrilled and pleased they are and how proud they are of their boy to have finished, his freshman year while he was in high school, and then to be graduating early. They just beam when they talk about it.
I'd love to see a Bridge student on Northwoods Law. I already watch it enough. So, all right. So I think we've given you enough of a kind of a microcosm of what it is. So really getting started, I'll toss it off to Mrs. Pelletier here soon to go over Herman specific. So right now, you may have been informed about it already. Right now is obviously the parent-student presentation. We'll go over the application in a second and all the CTE components. Just wanted to hit really quick. The Summer Academy, you see an asterisk here, and it is really one of the most important parts of our program. It's something that isn't available to really any early college students that I know of, few and far between, and may seem like just another thing to go to. And I can tell you a personal story about how I went to a conference kicking and streaming when I was a sophomore in high school, and it paid off. But summer academies are just like that. It may seem like just another school day or just another task to do, but whether it's right away or a year or two down the line, it will be very helpful for you and beneficial for you, looking forward to your options. But this year, it may just be a one-day event, hopefully in person, depending on the pandemic, and probably in your local area, but it won't be the traditional. Usually as juniors, it would be a 3-day, 2 overnight on campus at Eastern Maine Community College. But I think that's just going to be a little too much this year, and we really just want to make sure you get the general orientation to the Bridge program and what's expected of you. So stay tuned on that. The other thing I really wanted to make sure you know, we talked about costs associated with the program, the tuition costs, anything materials, textbooks, things like that. We do have 2 scholarships available. One is kind of to be determined right now for obvious reasons. It's available through the Department of Labor Competitive Skills Scholarship Program. Just with the uncertainty of unemployment and things like that, it's still kind of, when will that be available? It's much like Summer Academy. Stay tuned. Either way, we will have a Bridge Year Educational Scholarship available. It is similar to the Competitive Skills Scholarship Program, where it's based on your income level, family income level, but we raise it a little bit for the Bridge Year so that it catches some families who fall outside of the Department of Labor. It's a scholarship that only works or only covers your early college costs, so it doesn't follow you into your college like the CSSP program would. The CSSP program follows you for 6 years, whereas Bridge Year Scholarship is just the 1 year. But all I really want you to remember from that is that financial assistance is available, so don't be too scared by just the cost. Whether you're a, like I said, low-income family who just needs some extra financial assistance, or even a family who doesn't need financial assistance, I guarantee you the costs will save you money down the road and be beneficial for you. But just know that it is available. You're not totally on your own. And I can send you the link to the scholarship and where you can see the guidelines, or just send it to you via email if you have any questions about that. Last thing is the WOWI and Opportunity Ready badge. We already went over the Opportunity Ready badge. The WOWI is a career assessment really designed to, it's a 3-dimensional career assessment so that you can really get some helpful feedback on your strengths and weaknesses in certain careers and skill areas. And also it will provide you feedback on certain careers that you might not even know exist, or that you might not realize are as a good a fit for you, that can help you develop some pathways early on in the program too. So just stay tuned for that. But I think what we're going to talk about next is this application, this kind of 3, 4, 6 stage. So Mrs. Pelletier, I'll toss it to you from there.
Thank you. So sophomores will be receiving more information about the specifics of UTC programs, but right now the timeline for that is still pending. So I did want to take a moment to mention that here. The 19 UTC programs can be classified into one of 4 industries: the service industry, the computer science, production and technology industry, transportation industry, and also the construction industry. Students who are unsure of what CTE program may align with their post-secondary goals can work with their school counselor. A program that doesn't seem at face value to relate to a potential career option that you're interested in, you would be surprised at the relationships between the skills learned in the CTE program and how they can transfer to multiple career paths. So they provide not only career-specific skills, but they also provide employability and life skills. So there's a lot that can be taken from the different programs, even if you want to be a veterinarian, but they don't have something related to that at UTC. We can definitely find relationships with the programs there. There are 4 UTC programs which are highlighted. So the electronic and advanced manufacturing, the digital art and software development, business leadership, and automotive engineering. Motivated students that attend those programs have an opportunity to pursue college credentials, specifically a college certificate or associate degree through EMCC. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Eastern Maine Community College Credential Program, which is a partnership between UTC and EMCC. I'll have Mason flip ahead to the next slide. There we go. And so recently we had 2 Herman grads showcased in Maine Women magazine. They've also been on the Bangor Daily News Weekly with the similar article. So highly motivated students who choose one of those 4 highlighted programs can utilize the Bridge Academy courses here at the high school, as well as UTC's dual enrollment. So many of the programs at UTC have dual enrollment agreements with local community colleges, even Husson University, to earn credits right through their program. And so through the partnership between the UTC and Bridge, they may be able to obtain their associate degree in May of their senior year of high school. And that's what Malaya and Brooklyn, who are showcased here, they were able to do that. They earned their associate degree in liberal studies before they graduated from Herman High School in June. Well, it's still a relatively new partnership. We have been able to have students capitalize on it We also had several students that were able to earn their certificates in business as well. So in terms of the Bridge Academy timeline, the application process is going to be opening up. I'm going to have Mason speak about the application process itself and the importance of the application.
Yeah, thank you. So I think we've kind of spent a lot of time trying to sell you on the benefits of the program and why it can benefit you, and finding the right fit in the CTE courses and everything. Really quick, when I first started working with this program, I learned a lot from Brian, both in his job as a supervisor for me, but also Brian was heavily involved in the legislative piece and building this program. And it's really not meant to be like a enrollment machine. So like when I was working in admissions, it was recruit students, get students to start the program, try to get as many students as possible, so on and so forth. This program, it's really make sure that you explain the program to students, let them know it's available, and then if it's the right fit for them, great. If it's not, show them the other options. And that really was the basis of the application process. We really don't want to have just everybody applying ad hoc and you're accepted automatically. That would be great in terms of showing numbers of interest, but it wouldn't be great in terms of your academic success and long-term future. So what we do with the application, one, it's online, digital for ease and both for speed of response and everything. But we built it so that it was really kind of similar to what you would see in a basic college application. So it's going to say things like personal and contact information. It's going to ask you to write a quick essay about why you believe you're strong for the program. You'll need parent signature like you might on your college application, just to verify that your whole family is aware of the commitment you're making. There is a cost associated with it, so it's not like you can just sign up and let the bills hang out there. That will have consequences, which we'll teach you too. So we want to make sure that everyone's aware, and then we also want to make sure that we have some sort of letter of recommendation, letting them know that not only are you academically capable of college level courses, but you are committed to your own future and willing to participate in the activities, participate in the summer academies, those sorts of things. Obviously, they are tasks for you to complete, but it will be for your benefit in the long run, like we've showed you today. But we don't want you just walking into Mrs. Pelletier's office saying, I want to do Bridge, sign me up right now. It really should be a conversation about not just your academic readiness for those courses. You may be ready, I'm sure you are, but also the fit of a program over at UTC, where whatever it be, whether it's one of those courses that has credits attached to it or not. You just have to be able to juggle that. You have to be able to handle the added responsibility. I treat you personally. I know you'll be juniors and seniors in high school, but I try to treat you like adults as I can, whether it's at the summer academy. If you take responsibility and check in on your emails and get back to us, you're only going to be more ready for college. I went to school out of state on my own, and it took me at least a full semester to realize how to get through college, let alone find the right major. So that really is why we structured the application that way. We just want to get that information. It doesn't mean that you have to write a perfect essay to get accepted. Just try to be honest. Try to do the research on your own. Try to check out a program over at UTC. Talk to your guidance counselor, and then I bet you by the time you apply, you'll know exactly what to write and what to do. So just get on that as soon as possible. I believe there's an application due March 12th, but if you have any questions, I'm the technical guru on the online application side, so feel free to reach out to me directly if you need to, or just get in touch with Mrs. Pelletier. Actually, do you want me to post the link of that in the chat while we're here?
Sure.
All right.
So the application will be done completely online. So Mason's going to post the link, and then we will also post the link and have that available for students. If there are any barriers to completing that online, just let us know in the guidance office, and we can let you submit a paper version of that. So just stay in communication with us. The big piece will be meeting with your counselor for course advising. And that will be coming up the 2 weeks following the February vacation, because you're going to want to discuss the different programs that are available at UTC. We also help students consider bridge versus other early college options. We do have an abundance of early college options that students can utilize through Husson classes that are taught here, and also the University of Maine system and the community college system. And so we try to be really mindful working with students on what is going to best meet their goals. And so we oftentimes will sit down with the student and map out, what does a 2-year Bridge Academy course look like, our sequence of courses look like, and then what if you don't take Bridge? What are going to be your class options? And so oftentimes students that are interested in Bridge will leave with 2 different roadmaps of what their course sequence can look like their junior and senior year, and then they can decide what's going to be best for them. And one thing will be, the applications are due Friday, March 12th. Students will not have decisions about Bridge before they need to register for classes. So it will be important for them to meet with their counselor and essentially get those 2 roadmaps worked out. And then when they do register for classes, they're going to register as if they're enrolling in Bridge. So we're going to recommend the courses that they need to take to be a part of the Bridge Academy program. And that's what they're going to register for. If the students end up not applying or deciding that they don't want to participate, then we will set them up with the alternative schedule and work that out. So we will be sending out links to set up appointments with counselors. That will be happening within the next couple of days. So it will be really important for students to schedule appointments with us, just so that we can really advise them about Bridge and their courses in general. And so with that, that's really the information that we had about Bridge for tonight. Are there any questions that we can answer? Okay. Mrs. Smith, is there anything that you would like to add?
No, but certainly if you have questions that you don't want to ask in a group setting, feel free to reach out to Mrs. Pelletier, Miss Berry, if you fall under her caseload, as well as myself, and we'd be happy to do that for you.
Great. I really want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I know it can be hard to dedicate some time in the evening to these presentations. There certainly is a silver lining to being able to attend from home and not have to come into the school. I definitely want to thank Mason and Brian and Rachel for attending and spreading the information about Bridge. I really value our partnership with you. I think we have a great program here for students. And if anybody who has watched this has questions, definitely reach out to the guidance office, and we're happy to get answers for you.